Welcome back to another Kitten Space Agency video, everyone. Sponsored by Incogni, the #1 way to keep your online data safe. More on that later. And the reason I'm making another Kitten Space Agency video for you today is because, for the very first time, it's available to be downloaded by the public. You know, people like you. But not people like me. I got the latest version a little bit early along with some of my fellow content creators to get my grubby little hands on. Now, if you've not seen my previous Kitten Space Agency video, then hit the subscribe button below and hopefully YouTube will push it to your algorithm, or just click the link in the description to give it a watch. That video can be summarized by saying that it was the very first ever playable version of Kitten Space Agency being shown, and the word playable there is doing some very heavy lifting, as the game was far from being a game. It was basically a physics engine with some fancy graphics and a very placeholder feeling UI, because unlike another game we need not mention, Werkz are approaching Kitten Space Agency with the attitude of get all the boring stuff working first, so your physics, simulations, engine, etc., and only then will the game part be added, which I think is an excellent approach to take. It's certainly a much better idea than a Unity-powered bodge job of the ancient KSP1 spaghetti code, but I mean, who had decided that would be a good idea anyway? So yeah, my last Kitten Space Agency video really focused on the history of Kerbal Space Program's doomed sequel, and how Werkz took on the mantle of building the successor to everyone's favourite Space Frog game, as I felt, and still feel, that Kitten Space Agency is obviously very early in development, too early in development for one to pass judgment of its gameplay status at this stage, as it's not really a game yet, it's just the foundations, but these foundations are solid and made of solid concrete, unlike KSP2's foundations, which of course were made of yogurt. But here we are today, where, unless there was a last-minute delay that would be a very embarrassing look for me releasing this video without an accompanying download link in the description, the once industry-only pre-alpha is now available for free to anyone who wants to download it. And it's footage from this build that I'm showing on screen. Now, one thing that is essential to note with the public build, like the builds before, is setting up expectations. The game is far from done, and we're still very much in the phase of laying down the groundwork before anything of the fun gaming stuff is added. What you see in our videos and in the developer updates, which you can read if you join the official Kitten Space Agency Discord server, yet another link in the description for that if you want to join, nothing is being hidden or held back for marketing or hype or anything like that, and I'm not under any NDA or any embargo or anything. I hope I haven't just now avoided something by publishing this video, but I haven't signed anything, and there are, no embargoes associated with Kitten Space Agency. Everything is all out there for all to see. Just like, slightly more worryingly, your personal data. There are data banks with potentially your information in them being tossed around between data brokers and malicious parties, which is why today's sponsor Incogni is such an essential service, and it's something that I genuinely use, as they make sure that this doesn't happen. Normally you need to contact each individual data broker manually to request removal of your information, which is frankly not humanly possible with the sheer number of them out there. But you can automate the entire thing using Incogni, which reaches out to over 230 data brokers, continually demanding that your name is scrubbed from their systems, so that it doesn't land in the hands of corporations, advertisers, and cybercriminals. And Incogni's new custom removals tool lets you add even more places to send takedown requests, maximizing your anonymity. Identity theft, online harassment, and financial fraud all start with stolen data, and this is especially pertinent right now because it's on the rise. Identity theft went up by 72% in 2023 compared to the year before, and that's why I use Incogni and why you absolutely should too. Click the link in the description and use my code Lowne for 60% off their annual plan so that you can take control of your data before somebody else does. So, firing up the latest build of Kitten Space Agency, you can see we're still very much in the real solar system, as in Sol, Mercury, Venus, Earth, etc, etc. The final game will have a custom system, much like Kerbal Space Program does, but again, engineering and foundations first, then fun stuff later. And a bonus of using the real solar system to build and test the physics engine is the fact that we can compare how things behave in the game to how things behave in real life, since there is a direct analog that we can reference. Granted, this isn't one-to-one with the solar system. The final KSA system is planned to be around 2.5 times the size of Kerbal Space Program scale, and Kerbal Space Program scale is about 1/8 the size of the real world. So, to give you an idea, Jool, which is the biggest planet in the game, is about the same size as Earth. So, we have the space in Kitten Space Agency, and since we have control of the spacecraft, you could say we have some agency in Kitten Space Agency. But up until now, we've never had the kitten, except that now we do. Along with this public release is, the moment you've all been waiting for, our very first look at a space kitten. And here it is, in EVA, with a little EVA pack that can be controlled in much the same way as the KSP EVA packs, with the kitten's face and body dynamically responsive to keyboard inputs. Its eyes also follow the camera, and I'm sure this is just a placeholder means of having the eyes not be totally static, and speaking of placeholder, yes, I kind of hope this model is not too close to being finalized, and I hate being critical of a game this early in development, but this is far too into the uncanny valley for me. I've always been firmly against kittens in favor of little aliens, to be honest, like we had in KSP, but this is just a bit too dead-eyed for me. I think that the head is a bit too big as well, and the fur could be made a lot fluffier. I also think that a more cartoonish look to the cat would help out a lot. But again, we are very early days. This model is obviously not going to be the final model, and hey, maybe it will grow on me. Maybe I'm just still a bit set in my ways about, having a little Kerbal to control rather than a cat. Maybe you disagree, and that's fine, but that's my opinion. Much like the last time I covered Kitten Space Agency, the UI is still very much 100% function over form, with all the beautification to be added later down the line, though anyone experienced in Kerbal Space Program should be able to recognize most of the UI elements here. So it shouldn't take too long to get used to, and you can play around with the preloaded chips and get a feel for how the orbital physics and how basic collisions work. Now, here's what Dean Hall, project leader, had to say about what your role is with this public release. The studio has found that the old ways of making and selling games just simply wasn't working, and that if they didn't try new ways, they would end up as many other studios have. Kitten Space Agency is the culmination of probably a decade's worth of work building the studio. If you're here, then you are part of that journey now. Werkz will provide some more details of how all this will shake out later when the public build does go live. We need you as a spokesperson, not a salesperson. You know the project, you'll have the build, so you can make your own assessments about what the project has done and where it's heading. Use that voice out there in the community with the project. If you can, and you feel the build meets expectations, contribute. Support content creators as much as you can as well. Developers, modders, content creators, and players will form what we hope is a rebirth of the spirit that Felipe brought with KSP. But in times like we are now, it is so much harder, so we have nurture all parts of that. And, end quote there. So yeah, that's what Dean Hall had to say, and I think the most important part of that message is supporting content creators as much as possible. Guys, remember to like the video, buy my merch, subscribe, join my Patreon, join my members page, and of course watch every single other video I've ever made. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, but in all seriousness, they are very much aware of the challenges ahead. Not just the technical challenges of building such a unique game, but also overcoming the colossal expectations of players and filling such enormous boots when trying to build a successor to Kerbal Space Program. Now, this being an early in development build, there are a chunk of known issues and bugs, particularly issues with older graphics cards, especially AMD 5000 and 6000 series units. You can also expect some other weird edge case issues around GPUs and the like, as ultimately the technology being used to develop Kitten Space Agency is brand new, and the engineering team have a lot of technical challenges to overcome. The game is using a custom engine rather than off-the-shelf one like Unreal or Unity. Now, the benefit to an engine like Unity is that it comes with a load of things already solved, such as physics and all that, so a team developing a game on Unity wouldn't have to do things like, build the physics from scratch, like the KSA team are having to do. But this challenge of building a custom engine will hopefully pay off in spades. One of the issues I recall Harvester telling me about creating KSP in Unity is that most game engines will, at minimum, have an up and down, but in space, there is no up. or down. So how do you get the engine working around that? This is massively oversimplified, of course, partly because I'm not a game developer, and if I try and give detailed explanations, they'd almost certainly be wrong, and also because that's not really what this video is meant to be about. This video is meant to be about playing the public build. So let's do a mission with live Matt now. I'm gonna stop talking and be live commentary. We're gonna do a little mission in Kitten Space Agency. Okay, thank you for that, editing Matt. Live Matt here. How is everyone doing? We're starting off with this vehicle here, which is the first vehicle that you kind of get spawned to when you load up this version of Kitten Space Agency. Now, if you remember my previous video, which hopefully editing Matt remembers to put like a clip here, the default vessel in the old original version of the KS setup, it's really hard to not say KSP. The KSA build, you got like this kind of Apollo-style command module. Now we have a custom vessel. I guess it kind of looks a bit like a Gemini, but what's crucial here is that this is built of separate components that you'll be able to kind of use when the game's like builder is done. So we have a specific engine module piece, fuel tank piece, little RCS blocks that you can place, and a little crew cabin, and some things on top as well, and that is the technical term as well. And we have another vessel over there, so let's see. I'm going to probably mess this up in live. Oh, I have massively overshot, but there you go. There was another vessel there. We can switch to it. Okay, there it is there. So this was here in the original KSA release, so it's kind of like a Gemini. So it's got forwards and backwards RCS, as well as kind of, translation using IJKNL. All the same sort of controls as Kerbal Space Program's RCS controls. Of course, we have no main engine on this vessel. Of course, again, we have the main event, which is the cat, which I neglected to mention earlier, but hang on, if I just do this and switch again, as you can see, following Hunter. It's tiny text, but yes, this little cat's name is Hunter. So there we are, and we can do little EVA controls. Already kind of showcased the kitten, though, haven't I? Let's go back to this vessel here. So just like before, the UI is fully kind of customizable, so we can move things around. So I can try and make it look a bit more like KSP's UI, so you can kind of get a bit more of a familiar feel. I've made the nav ball way too big. Let's make that kind of central. We'll put all of our orbital stuff up here. Engine, we can put that here. And then, yeah, I guess there really isn't like an equivalent thing for KSP. Basically, I've just made the UI much worse. But this is just a showcase of the fact that, the UI is fully customizable at this stage. It might become a bit more locked down later on when it's all kind of been finalized. But for now, it's looking pretty nice. Let's go ahead and hit this button here, null rotation. And no rotation here, we can kind of basically just lock our rotation in place. Then go back to manual. So if you mess something up, and where is my engine controls? I now can't find anything because I've tried to change. So let's drop our periapsis right down. Where's the map screen? Hang on, I've done this wrong. Oh, did I just run out of fuel? Oh no, never mind. Wait, we need orbit. Here we go. We want to point retrograde. Let's just see. We backwards. I think that's it. Yeah, there we go. Backwards relative to surface, and that should then lower our... Oh, by the way, I should mention, we got the ignite and shutdown buttons here. You can press Z and X, though, then it's the same controls as Kerbal Space Program. Here we go. This is perfect. Now we should be able to lower our orbit, and we can enter the Earth's atmosphere and get a good old look at the atmospheric scatter. One of the players on the Rocket Werkz team is, of course, BlackRack, who is responsible for the incredible black racks of volumetric clouds that really does transform Kerbal Space Program into a very, very beautiful game. And it's obviously working wonders on Kitten Space Agency. So let's just there we go. Stop those from firing. But yeah, coming down in the water, and this is a very scatterish looking view. And we get a bit more light on this vessel just a bit. Oh, I forgot to mention, yeah, we got insane, like I say, this is a test vessel, so it's very, very powerful. But yeah, that was just the same through the atmosphere, and let's just now get back into space. And yeah, there it is flying. But yeah, gorgeous looking game. Now what we can do, because this is like a this isn't like the final build, we can just like teleport around. So if I remember how to do this, I think it's I should have looked this up. I wrote this down and then I forgot where I wrote it. So it's in here somewhere. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Is it? Universe? No, it's not. It's in view. Oh, this is humiliating. I'm so sorry. Is it debug? Show. Oh, here we go. Show set orbit. Yeah, here we go. So we can set our orbit around various things. So let's try and find something interesting like... Oh, we're about to splash down? Yeah, okay. No splashdowns yet, but the very first versions of Kerbal Space Program also did not have water physics, so there's that. Where is... Oh, 3i Atlas! That's the new thing! I didn't even know... Oh. Well, you know, it's a work in progress, this. But yeah, let's maybe... in case the game's not completely crashed, let's try and go for Jupiter. Where... There it is. Oh, I just saw it. There it is. Jupiter. Can we do that? Okay. I might have broken something. Let's... Oh. Has it fixed? Okay. I'm going to just restart this. And we are back. Let's just try and remember how I did this. So, show orbital... Show set orbital people. Okay, right. So, I want to go to Jupiter. Because... Let me tell you guys, Black Rack has been cooking, I am told. That's at my orbit. Oh, I guess I can't go any higher than that. Look at that. It's Jupiter. Let's time warp to the sunny side of the moon planet. As you can see, Jupiter now has volumetric clouds. So, yeah. I mean, like I say, this part of the video is meant to be like a gameplay showcase, but as I mentioned, there isn't really a game yet. I mean, it's only been a couple of months since I made my initial video of Kitten Space Agency, right? Let's just quickly time up to Venus. Not all the planets in the solar system have full textures, because again, the solar system here, or the Sol system, is only here for like testing purposes. Dean has said that there will be a custom star system added in the coming months. Make of that what you will. So this, for example, is Mercury, which is just a featureless white ball, which is obviously not what Mercury is in real life. So I think Io might have a texture. I really don't remember. I think is either Io does have a little a very crude rudimentary texture. Same, I think, for Titan. Or Neptune. I wonder if Neptune does. Hopefully it does. Nice blue planet. Big reveal. Let's see. Hey, we have a blue Neptune. Look at that. Lovely stuff. And here's the map screen. As you can see, this is the Sol system. We can zoom way out. Way out. I guess so that we can support interstellar eventually. Right now, only the Sol system is simulated and you can't leave its sphere of influence. So if you do get further out than the sun's sphere of influence, you will see precision issues according to the dev kind of release update thing. So yeah, there's the Sol system. But like I say, there isn't really a great deal of gameplay for me to showcase because the game, it's still very much building blocks phase in terms of the development right now. But what I can show you now is I'll cut back to editing map just to showcase a few little kind of video snippets and what are they called? Screen captures of some of the development going on. So back to you, editing map. Actually, before we cut to editing map, I'm going to leave this rocket on screen and then editing map is going to take over from here, if this works. Thank you, live Matt. Actually, this is still live Matt talking. I'm just still going to edit I'm going to try and superimpose the picture on now. As you can see, the rocket is made of multiple components which can be seen somewhere on the screen where I found a blank space to put them. Actually, I might do this. Can I do free oh, no, I tried to do free camera and now the spacecraft's gone. But yeah, there'll be an image somewhere showing the engine parts that this spacecraft is made from. And you can kind of get a sense of how the modular building system works in a similar sort of way to how the building system works in Kerbal Space Program. Okay, it really is editing Matt back now with a couple of screenshots courtesy of Lynx, one of the devs of Kitten Space Agency, showing a photo of the Apollo command module landed on the moon and on the Earth, showcasing the recent mesh upgrades that provide enough mesh detail near the craft to be able to tessellate it up to amounts good enough to represent fine surface detail. So when you land somewhere, it's no longer all zoomed in and low poly. Here's a comparison screenshot showing before and after. Now here's a picture of more boosters. Quoting developer Daishi, "We have a smaller, thrustier engine for pushing bigger payloads into orbit. Inspired by the LR-87, it can be mounted on both a 1-meter frame, 2-meter frame, or clustered on a 3-meter engine mounting plate in pairs or quads. The first engine now shares a common turbopump exhaust with it, with its vernier engines as an optional toggle. Speaking of which, to make things more streamlined, they've approached stage decouplers closer to what happens in the real world. In-stage fairings snap onto the base of a tank or an engine mounting plate, and you adjust them based on how big your engines are. Attach your engines in whatever arrangement you want, then attach your next stage to the base of the interstage fairing. The forces of the rocket are directed past the engine, not through it, allowing you to build more creative ways and stuff other things in there like retro rockets, batteries, or other spacecraft." End quote. Oh my goodness, one thing I should have mentioned earlier, so context, I was about to hit render, then I remembered I forgot to even mention that the game has music now, so I'm recording this little snippet now in between the last bit and the next bit. Just say there's music in the game now, and throughout this video you've been hearing that in the background, so that's good. Unlike this awkward editing on my part. Anyway, continuing on with the video before I inserted this awkward little bit. This is a video shared by BlackRack. It's a preview of the new swirling volumetric clouds of Jupiter. The next step is to refine these and to add more vertical formations. But I'd say so far these are looking absolutely phenomenal. I don't know about you guys. BlackRack later showed off this video, with the caption stating that he has animated Jupiter's 2D texture so that swirling and moving bands can be seen from a map view and distant orbits. But yeah, all these updates can be seen and read on the official Kitten Space Agency Discord server, so definitely join that if it's of interest. But I think I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say about the public release of Kitten Space Agency. Like I say, these videos have to be recorded and edited ahead of time, so while they are aiming to release to the public tomorrow, there is a non-zero chance that a critical bug could be discovered that would force a delay. Dean has said he is very much letting engineering dictate the release moment, so sorry if it did end up being delayed and me hyping up the public release. It's not quite ready yet, basically. But if it did get delayed, then it's definitely still only right around the corner. I hope you enjoyed this silly video covering it, and I hope you make the most of that 60% off an annual plan with Incogni using my code. Thank you so much, Incogni, again for sponsoring during this difficult period of low viewership that many of us are going through. Make sure you guys click that link below, and of course it goes without saying, massive thank you to all of you on the right hand side of the screen there for supporting my channel directly, either through my Patreon page or through my YouTube members program. If you want to see your name in lights there, then you know what to click. But yeah, again, that's pretty much a wrap on today's video, and I will see you all at some point again very soon, I'm sure. I mean, I won't see you because it's a video, but